So I've been coming to Hatteras all my life. I'm 82, and I literally came here as an infant. There hasn't been a year in my life when I haven't been to Hatteras. So when I decided to get a jet, I said, I'm going to get a jet that will get me in and out of that 3,000-foot strip on Hatteras Island.
AOPA keeps flying safe, accessible, and fun by protecting your freedom to fly. We are the most trusted one-stop resource for all things related to general aviation. Become an AOPA pilot today.
And after looking at everything in the category, the M2 was the clear choice. It had the best short field performance, the best efficiency, still had good range. And of course, a big issue with that was, who do you get for a pilot? Because at my age, you wouldn't want to put me in the left seat of a jet. So I hired this guy, Bryan Adamez, who is a fabulous pilot who loves flying the way I do and loves going into remote places.
It really has been a privilege for me to be Shep's pilot and to be able to fly in and out of remote airports like Hatteras. I had a little trepidation at first because while I had quite a bit of time flying the Citation M2, I didn't have any experience taking it into a 3,000-foot long runway. As Shep and I began our relationship and discussed the mission, I was very confident in the performance of the M2. I knew through training and through reading the AFM that the performance of the M2 supported what we wanted to do, but there are other factors to consider, like safety. And one of the biggest factors when flying into an airport like Hatteras is having good judgment. Shep assured me that he would never pressure me to do anything I wasn't comfortable with, and working together, we established some minimum criteria that would be the basis for our go, no-go decision on each flight. The performance planning is pretty straightforward. It's just looking at the takeoff and landing tables and making sure that we're operating within the required weight limitations given the conditions of the day. Weather has and always will be one of the biggest risk factors in flying, and so we have some established minimums that we hold pretty strictly to prior to every flight. I really love that this airplane has an AOA indexer on the glare shield. It's an exceptional tool for maintaining situational awareness outside of the cockpit while also being able to fly precisely at minimum airspeed all the way down to the threshold. The difference between flying an approach into Hatteras versus any other airport with longer runways is that there's less margin for error in every regard. Hatteras is an uncontrolled airport, and so you have other aircraft you have to worry about. There's wildlife, deer, birds on the runway or around the runway. You have to be fully configured and stabilized on final approach with very strict airspeed control, a deliberate aiming point with an anticipated touchdown point within the first third of the runway. All of these things are far more important on a short field than when you have 8,000 feet of runway available to you. Despite my initial trepidation about taking a jet into a 3,000-foot long airstrip, the last 5.5 years of operating at Hatteras have proven that it can be a safe and enjoyable experience. It just takes a little extra attention to detail through with performance planning